Hey guys, this is Dreamcraft23 here, and today we're going to be doing my own personal opinion of what I actually think about Battlefield 5. Now some of you might be asking, well, why are you doing this video now? Shouldn't you have done this like a month ago when you first got the game? And yeah, but honestly I'm not going to review the game as soon as I start playing it. I need to get some experience of the game. But now, since I have some experience of the game and been here for a couple of updates, now it's just time for me to share from my own personal opinion of what I actually think about the game. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Now, without a doubt, having free DLC and not to having to pay for it is a great thing, and that's what I like about Tides of War, which is basically the live service for BF5 if you don't play BF5. But this also brings a concern for me, especially for the future of BF5, and that is the lack of content. With the lack of content that Tides of War produces, it makes me really concerned because it shows that if there's gonna be lack of content, there's gonna be less players playing the game, more are gonna be leaving, so probably back to BF4, BF1. And that's scary, man. I mean, like, I like this game, but they need to start pumping out more content. And a fine example of this is the maps. Now, there's one less map than in BF1. It's not too big of a deal, but of course, at the same time, it does kind of show a whole little bit. And that is that probably we're going to have less maps than we had in BF1. In BF1, there wasn't that many maps either at launch. I think like 9, which was less than what BF4 had. And of course, it took DICE until March of 2017 to release the first DLC, which was They Shall Not Pass. And already a lot of players have left because there wasn't that much things to do. Sorry about the pause there. And to me, even though Tides of War is giving players assignments to, you know, unlock cool guns and clothing, it won't be enough to stop players from leaving. More players leaving than joining and staying. And yeah, it's basically one issue I have with the game, but also one thing I like about the game too. Now I'm going to go on a more debatable topic, and that is sniping in BF5. Now sniping in BF5 is difficult. They made it way harder than it was in BF1. Now trust me, I'm not a casual field player. No, because I was kind of hardcore back in the day, so I normally play Martini. And you know that gun in BF1 was hard as hell to use because of the muzzle velocity, but I had a great sweet spot. But now we're in BF5 where it seems that they got rid of the sweet spot, which is woohoo, different statistics for guns. But it seems that they nerfed them a little too hard in this game. And what do I mean by they nerfed them a little too hard? Well, it feels like they nerfed the muzzle by a lot. Probably the bullet drops a little more in this game. And it really isn't effective in maps like this. Like, this is a map where sniping's supposed to be effective, but it just can't work out properly due to the ranges of this map and how slow the bullet velocity feels in this game. Now, I'm not a PC player, so I don't know how sniping in that game feels, but for sure I'll tell you one thing, I ain't no Fabian Chills or Stode, so I'm definitely not good at sniping in this game. But for me, for more players like me, the average players, I just feel like that sniping should be buffed a little bit. Maybe the muzzle velocity, maybe kind of make the bullet drop a little more lenient, not to drop so much. I just don't know what the solution to sniping is. Just the only two I got in my head are just maybe increase the muzzle velocity to the average of 720, probably for the Gavera M95, probably to 800. That's my ideas, but for sure no sweet spot. That's one thing I'll say. And yeah, that's my point of what sniping should be like in BF5 instead of what it is right now. We're going on to the next point now that I want to make. Another thing I want to mention about BF5 is the bugs in the game. Now, The bugs aren't as bad as Fallout 76 or BF4 at launch, and that's a good thing, but BF5 still has plenty of bugs in its with itself, and to me it really sucks of how many bugs there are in the game. Now, if they would have probably hold back the game a little bit and said, hey, give us some time, then probably would have been more polished. I mean, we would have more content and all that yada yada. But of course, we have to deal with EA, and EA loves rushing games. And to me, this makes me feel bad for DICE, honestly. I'm like, really think about it though. If we would have had probably a longer wait, a longer delay, there would have been less bugs than there is now, obviously. But of course, this is what it came out as. Now there is less bugs than there was at launch, but there's still plenty of them out there, just lurking in the dark, waiting to prey on its next victim, to see who gets struck. Now, an example of a bug I could give you is this one weird bug, which I think only pops up on console, which is when you press pause in the game, you have your side of an assignments and then your normal side where you just have options, resume game, or you could quit the server, look at server info, all that. Well, when you unpause the game, you know, to continue your session of multiplayer. Sometimes the assignments could get on the gameplay itself, and it could cause problems for you. I mean, like, if when you try to shoot, it automatically goes to your friends list. PS4, for example, you have your friends list, probably on Xbox One too, and I'm not sure about PC, but probably doesn't happen on PC, to be honest. And to this point, it gets irritating, and this could get you killed sometimes if it pops up on the wrong timing. Trust me, it happened to me before on the wrong timing, and I'll tell you, this bug is not fun to come across. And that's just one of them to name. And there's plenty of bugs out there still in the game, honestly. So probably if DICE, this patch that they release, removes more of the bugs that are kind of irritating, then that would be more accepted. But it's just I just wish the game was more polished. Wish it was came out later than it is now. Now the gunplay in BF5 is better than it was in BF1. Now that doesn't mean BF1 was bad, it just meant that the gunplay in that game was just inferior compared to this one. Now the reason why the gunplay in this game is better is because first off, your TTK is faster, so you have more opportunities to kill your enemy if you're the first one to shoot. You have chances to get better flanks. You have just way more options out there just when it comes to you taking out your enemies with your guns. Now, of course, as well with this gunplay, we also have to remove a suppression, and that's a good thing because, of course, removing suppression means more skill that comes in the game than it came in BF1. Now, suppression in BF1 was horrible because it made bullet deviation, it made your bullets go all over the place, and it frustrated a lot of players like me. And it's fixed in this game now. Just the only thing that I could say is like suppression is the visuals, but that's pretty much it. The visuals won't bother you too much. And pretty much, yeah. This brings me on to the next topic, which is the gameplay mechanics in this game. The gameplay mechanics in this game are very interesting. It's different from other Battlefield games. Instead of walking to ammo crate or a medical crate, now you actually have to pick up those items. And plus you have to be more lenient on your ammo and your health, since you can't naturally regenerate in the game, and plus you don't start off with all the ammo in the game. So this game is more tactical. It's, I guess, more for hardcore players, and that's fun to me, honestly. It makes the game more fun. Of course it does make it frustrating at the same time, but I could pass on to that. And it does show a pretty bright future for the game especially since a lot of people who bought and played this game actually liked the mechanics of how it worked. Not everybody, but I guess most people you could say who bought it liked it. And I hope it does go in the next Battlefield game. It does show a bright future. I mean, like, I hope the next game is Vietnam. But it would be also interesting to see in a modern game. Who knows? But gameplay mechanics wise, I'd give it a 8 out of 10. Not the greatest, but really nice, fresh, and good as well. And pretty much now we're on the last point, and that's pretty much my opinion of the game. My overall opinion about BF5 is that it's a decent game, you know. It's more in the middle of everything. I wouldn't say it's necessarily mediocre or medicore or whatever you want to say, but it's just more of things in the middle. It gets things right and things it gets wrong. Honestly, I think that BF5 had a lot of potential, but I guess due to the backlash of the trailer back in May of 2018, a lot of people, of course, skipped the game, and it is a shame for that to happen. Now, would I recommend to buy this game? Absolutely yes. I 100% would like you to buy the game. It is a good game, you know. It's really, it's like, I'm not sure how to say Battlefield 5 is more like, it's like a game where it has some like flaws in it. It's okay, well, just say it like this, okay? It's a flawed game, but it's good, okay? Yes, the points I mentioned, lack of content, the bugs in it, and sniping in it if you're a sniper, all those are kind of points that are kind of bad for the game, but at the same time, it doesn't make the game entirely bad. All that means is that the game just needs fixes in those areas, and hopefully that one day DICE could fix those areas, those gray spots of the game, and so it could be a more enjoyable experience for the player. And another thing I have to say is that BF5 necessarily was cheap because of the poor sales it made. I mean, like, and that's a pretty bad thing, but honestly it's just to me more the circle jerk that caused the game to fail. It didn't mean that the game was entirely bad. It just had, there's just some holes in the game that just make it appear bad, even though it's really not that bad. So yeah, this is my video of what I think about the game. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.